Hello, this is Susan Bonner, and we're going to work on our After Effects prep for our social media animated GIF. One of the things that I've done here is I've set up all of my layers in such a way that they are all on a different layer if they're going to be animated. So I'm just turning these on and off so that you can see what I'm going to be animating. The layer that I don't want is just kind of off. So I'm going to just turn this all back on. Oops, Command Z. Just to show you kind of the way that this is set up. One of the things that I do know that I'm going to be doing is working on this penguin in such a way that he's going to move his hands and also move his head. So even though it was built initially to be kind of one piece, all one layer, I will need to come in here and kind of cut him out, and Command X and Command Shift V. And then what I'll do is I'll turn off his head and then lasso the rest of his neck, and I for picker, and G to dump that. And I can just dump again, Command D. I've missed a little bit here, so I'm just gonna Command Z. Make sure that I have a cleanup brush. The brush that you have right here, these hard rounds, do work okay, but I've adjusted mine a little bit better, and you can pick up the Bonner cleanup brush on the brush pack. Okay, Command Z. I do want to up the smoothing on that so that my coffee shaking is not apparent. And now when I put the head on, I can come back to this and hit E for eraser. And instead of getting a soft eraser, I'm going to go for a round one. I do have one that's called the Bonner Cleanup Eraser. And just come back in here. On the head, B, I just need to do it in such a way, so I'm just hitting E and B to kind of carve away at getting his head to be right. So I'm going to now turn this off. B, G, dump it again. When I did that second dump, I get a little bit of extra. Want to talk about how this is set up. This is set up to be 1920 by 1080 file, and that is so that I can make it a little bit larger in the setup, but Command D, make things like Antarctica shrink and get bigger as I need. So those are things to consider as you guys build your own files for animated GIFs. Let me just zoom out to show you, and Command R to hit my rulers. Eventually this is going to be 640 by 640, and this Antarctica is going to shrink. So I'm going to hit Command T just to show you what that will look like holding down Shift. It's going to shrink and the penguins are going to jump off. That's a part of my animation plan. Command Z. Command period to stop. So all these penguins are going to kind of run through a cycle of jumping, and I'll work on that in After Effects. Now this could have been done in Animate, but I want to show you guys the process of creating a file in After Effects. So this head is now ready to go. I might want to move the bib of his outfit down a little bit. So I'm going to go to that. B for brush, I'm already in black, and kind of move his outfit down a bit. So now B for brush on that, and just switch that. Okay, things are coming along good. Command T, I'm going to test his head by putting the rotation point at the section where his neck would be. And you can see that I'm not really breaking his neck, and that's working and functioning really, really nicely for me. Command period to stop that. I also want him to kind of flap his wings, so I'm going to do the same thing on that. So go back to here, lasso, and about to here. Get a little bit extra here. Command X, Command Shift V. That pastes it in place. So I'm going to go to this, turn this off, hit E for eraser, and just kind of come in, and then B for brush, and give him a little bit of extra body here. And that makes it so that this can now flip and flap. Command T, move the rotation point, and kind of whoop, 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 whoop. Oh, it's going to be cute. He's like, please help me. Command period to stop that transformation. Do the same thing over here on this arm. Option for the don't select here section. Command on the right layer, Command X, Command Shift V. Do the same thing where I'm going to give him a little bit more body. B for brush. Oops, I'm on the wrong layer. Just kind of come in. G, well, I'm gonna not do the G right now. I'm just gonna paint his body. And E for eraser, and just kind of come in. B. E. Okay. Pretty pleased with the way that that is looking right now. I'm just going to go in and give him a little bit more of that. Oops, Command Z, B. I think I touched a little extra, so I'm going to hit E. Okay, looking for this to be pretty stylized. Now I'll test this, Command T, rotate, and move this, right? Command period to stop that transformation. So he's doing pretty good. I'm not going to move any of these assets because I'm just going to move them in as that. So this is the only thing that I really needed to cut apart. If you were going to do any mouth movements, you would also make a mouth that is like this, and then an alternate mouth. Eye movements also. Each asset would need to be placed onto here. I would then need to name each section. So Penguin Big, which is his name, and this is his right arm. And then I'm going to name this one, same kind of thing. Penguin Big, no spaces, left arm. So these layers are going to come into After Effects, so it's important to work with them with the right kind of layers. So I need to double click onto layers and then name them. So Penguin Big Head. And if I gave him eyes or mouth, that is alternate, I would also name them that. If I am not sure if I need to give him another mouth, I would need to, I could work on it right now and then come back to After Effects, but each of those layers would have to be exported as a separate layer. So those are things to think about. Okay, so I'm ready at this point to move this into After Effects with all of these layers set up in the right way. I do not have anything in a folder. If things were in a folder, I would need to, so a folder is Command G, it groups them. I would need to pull these out of a folder. So in order to do that, you can shift click through things and then pull them out, and then you would control click delete the group or trash the group. Other things to know if you need to merge things down, perhaps you have line that you're putting on. So perhaps I wanted to have this line for my, let's move it. Perhaps I had the line, I wanted to keep the line on Antarctica. you would then need to merge these together. I'm going to move this up. So this is something that would not be animated, so you would have to Command E to merge them together, or go up to your hamburger menu and click merge down. Okay, so I'm going to Command Z that because I don't want mine to be there. I am going to keep the Antarctica line there in case I need it later. I'm a little bit unsure of that. So anything that's coming in, anything that is a layer at this point in Photoshop will come into After Effects. So that's something to know about. So next I'm going to hit File, Save, and this is called Penguin Social Distancing .psd.